I picked up two rear KYMs from the wreckers, $50 or $40 each, with the correct springs. They're the shocks that came with it that had those chopped up springs on them. But there's actually nothing wrong with those shocks. But anyway, I wanted to put these on, but the top mount was stripped in here. The nuts were just spinning here, and I was at the wreckers and I had limited tools. And so I ended up, while the strap was in the car, just undoing the centre bolt and letting it twang out while I sat safely inside the car. You're not supposed to do that, but, well, I did. So these original ones with the chopped springs had these on them, which are knackered. So, bin time for that. So I ended up using the centre shield, if you like, and bump stop with the old shocks, like that's off this, off the KIMs, and the old mounts with the washer that goes on the inside of the top mount on the original one of these, on the wreckers one of these. Does that make sense? Anyway, look, probably makes zero sense. It doesn't matter. I've just made a couple of shocks, a couple of struts out of two sets of shocks. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, these are still fantastic. There's a little mark there from oil, but that's not a leak. That's CRC that I stuck on the stem to get that mount off, or to get that bump stop shield thing off. So I'll keep these. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that the other thing was that thread is a minuscule amount shorter than that. So I only had two of those nuts. I had to use original nuts with the original mounts, because when you use the I don't know. When you put it on these, it didn't quite reach. It was up here somewhere. I'm ditching on this because I can't explain it. But anyway, rear struts. I found a hang on, this is heavy. Not heavy, but it's gas struts. A wiper blade. So I put that on. Most important to put the old blade back in and put the new one in, because we'll get this car mechanically great, and consumables like front discs and pads would be changed. Sorry about the wind. If and when it gets on the road, and wiper inserts, of course, you would change those as well. As long as they're not broken to the point where the steel part can skate up and down the window, the screen, I don't think it matters much. So straight off the bat, we've got $2.50 off the car. There's $2 there, and there's a 50-cent coin there, so it's good. I think I'll clean all the stuff out. I really need to clean it because I don't like how it is. The other thing is, you can't get these. They're very difficult to get where the sun gets to them. See this? I've got a mint set in my green car. These ones are knackered. So these just clip off. There's a sort of a clip arrangement behind there, so I can take that off. I'm just going to wet sand the hell out of it and just vinyl paint it. That'll do. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. I also had to go and get some shrink tubing to fix up the radio wiring, but again, that's not a big deal at all. So I think, firstly, I got the back in the air. This looks like a really bad Christmas present. It's been melted by one of those big sewage can exhausts, I think. I'm not sure, but quite often these sorts of things can be brought back with a heat gun and then bodywork it a bit with that special bumper filler. I'm going to go into the house. I've got another one of these in the right colour, but I'm not sure if it's worth putting on. I'll just go have a look. Fished out these bumpers. That back one's not too bad. Just dirty, I think. It's a couple of scratches. But it had a sticker there. Ultimately, it's not too bad, though. Yeah, I reckon I'd prefer that one. Looking around here, there's the front. You got some beautiful snails. This one this one I have to use because I haven't got another one. I don't even know what that thing is. It's got a couple of scratches and stuff, but it should be right. It's better than nothing. Rear bumpers on these are a doddle to get off. There's only a self-tapping type bolt in the front corner of each bit. Then you've got these clips. Now they can be difficult. This has been like in a paddock. There's a lot of sort of mud and dust and dirt and all this sort of stuff caught up on every sort of ledge under it, so I've got to clean it out. They were quite difficult. They normally just pull out. The center pulls out and then the whole thing comes out. If you've got a friend like Nick Saviano Jr., he sends you tools like that, which are for door trim things, but it's absolutely brilliant. It just pulled out straight away. There's another bolt in the centre, which is stepped, and these three across the top. So, very simple to do. Where's my extension? I don't know what to do with it. Maybe we'll go without the extension for now. And these three, these are stepped as well, and what that stepping does is it remains the thickness of the plastic, or maybe a tiny bit less, a couple of thousandths less, just to pinch it up, but it won't squash the plastic and therefore split it. So it's important, you know, that you replace them like for like, if you know what I mean. Again, these sorts of things, if you're doing a resto on something that's like, this was a Glanzer and it was a valuable car, you would probably plate those. Toyota normally plate them black, or they're dipped black, but I don't know if I plate it because they're rusty, but you can't get that stuff redone. The cleaner the bolt, the better the plating will take. Slippery sucker. Ooh, what sort of spider are you? Well, that's alright. You can survive. I'm not going to do anything to him. He's just a harmless little spider. Redbacks, kill him straight away. I don't care what anyone says. The other thing is, that is knackered. You can, as I said, get a heat gun, which looks like someone's done that, and bend it back. You could fill it. Don't know if I can be fagged. I might chuck it out. It's just not good enough. You know what I mean? Oh, look, it's had a smack in the bum. That'll do. That's something I didn't know about. So what we'll do is we'll clean that off before we put new one on. Actually, look, there's heat marks all over it. That actually looks like that thing caught fire. That bumper caught fire off the original exhaust. There's no sign of anything in there, but yeah, that looks like it's caught fire there. That's interesting. I don't know about this. Anyway, I'll clean it off first. I've given it a rudimentary clean. I'm not a person you should ever ask about what to do with problems like that, because I would fix it my way, which isn't necessarily the right way. I wouldn't try and hit it out the way it is now. I would probably remove the spot welds and all the seam sealer from inside and separate those two, because that way for me it would be much simpler to straighten that bottom piece if it's disconnected from that, and then punch that out as well. That's how I would do it. I would actually disconnect them and repair them separately, then rejoin them. Either that or yeah, I don't think I'd cut it. Either that or I'd cut it, separate them and re-weld them. I'd probably just do the spot welding though. That's not dissimilar to what the sill looked like on the XC, because it had been lifted up with a pad under the sill instead of the torque box, and with that big heavy V8 it had crushed in all the sill, and that's how I did it. I actually disconnected it from the bottom, reshaped the front of the sill, which was easy with it disconnected, and put a plate behind. But that I would probably just try and straighten out what's there. For now I'm not doing a damn thing to it though. I'm going to leave it. It's not encroaching on the spare wheel room, and there's no big deal as far as I'm concerned. It's not structurally, well, it's structurally hit, but it's not structurally compromising the wheel alignment or the strength of the car, because the chassis rails are fine. I might just get a black rattle can, just on the off chance that, I think the paint's still there, but I might just dust over it with a bit of a black rattle can and just stick the bumper on. Yeah. Or silver. Maybe silver, huh? Bit of rattle can silver, which is British Paint's metallic bright silver. Not even a bad match, really. Too bad about the water drip coming into it, but she'll be right. Cleaning this up's a crummy job. I'm just using the spare wheel well as a wash basin. Quiet doggy. And it's got all this greasy crap everywhere. I just cleaned all that part up there with, what do you call it? Sugar soap. But all down in that corner there. I don't know why it's like that. So, there could probably be a bit cleaner in there, down there. I don't know what that stuff is. Hang on, where's the drain? There we go. Even sounds like a drain. Sweet. Man, I got to clean up around here so bad. There we go. It's a bit nicer. Spare wheel well's always, whoops, quite crummy, but you know, you got to make it look nice for the sake of a Starlet bid. There we go. That'll dry out all right. I suppose the next wash basin is going to be the rear floor of the car. Normally I just hose these out. I've done it a few times now. If it's just a shell, you're just going to basically fill the whole car with water with this pressure cleaner, but I can't because the wiring and everything's still in here. But it's that bloody rotten corner. Yep, should be right. I'll just put a bit of water in there and we're good to go. I've been cleaning up, but I'm a bit mystified about something. I need you guys to come have a look at this. The engine doesn't look like it's been modified. It's got a blue cover on it. The exhaust doesn't look like it's been off recently, or at least the manifold. We know the exhaust system was. And we know the exhaust system was also had burnt the back of the car where the bumper is. But look at this. I never noticed before. It's all burnt here. All that brown. That body deadener should look like that. Look at it. And there's even charcoaly bits of underlay coming off it. If we look a bit at the underlay that was there, it's got a hole burnt in it as well. I didn't think an exhaust could get that hot to do that much damage. I think it had a non-standard exhaust and a big, exit like we said before. But that's been getting so hot. Now, I didn't even think a normally aspirated car could get that hot on the exhaust. Go away. Where is that moron? Yeah, so they must have had a non-standard exhaust on it and it's got absolutely red hot. But I can't think, I've never seen anything like that. So it must have been right up against the floor, been very poor fitting. As well as the engine must have been thrashed that hard. Like red line every gear change. I don't know how else you could get it that hot. If it had a turbo fitted, I'd say yeah. I turboed a Sigma years ago and I got that thing red hot too, but that's the only thing I thought could actually generate that much temperature. Okay, so the Starlet's dry. We can start putting the carpet in. That stain over there didn't come out. And nor did it come out of the, what do you call it? Carpet. I ended up using degreaser, but it's not too bad. And of course that all looks good around here. I'm still mystified by that burn there. But what I've got done is a few things to talk about. I've got to rewire the radio wiring, but we'll figure it out. I'll put the clutch pedal in first and that's, oh dandy. That's nice. And the brake pedal now, I've got the box in, if you look up there, and it's all mounted and also at the top, which is that one there. It's a pain in the neck to get to, but you can get to it alright. Clutch is the same thing. Now, the clutch and the clutch pedal for 96 right through 99 is the same, but the brake pedal 96, 97 is different from 98, 99. This is an automagic one. Now, what I needed to ascertain is the height of the pedal itself, and it's different. It's right in the center of there. So if I pull this pad off, it'll give me an idea where I need to weld the other one too. What I initially wanted to do, is trim the sides and just weld the top on or the bottom, but it seems to be central to the whole thing. I'll have a look at the other car. There's a spring that's supposed to hold that out, so that's how it sits. I think at the moment it's going to be alright just to leave it, but I do need to revisit it and put the proper pedal on. I think in the meantime now, I'm sick of doing this. I might just get the iron out and solder on the correct terminal for the other side, then I'll lay the carpet out of here. I did find a uni joint and it was stupid. I'll show you. So I've been looking at stereo stuff. That's no good, that's a parts one. Might be able to make one out of two, that's what I did on the other car. And I had a bunch of stereos in here and under there. Don't know. What a dick. Why would I put them in there? They're the smaller shafts for the power steered cars. So I've got the two in there, one for this car and one, well, I mean, I'm telling you now, I'm doing another Starlet at some point. And also the box. Although, I don't know where it's only the cap. I need the other bit, so it's bound to be somewhere else, I'm not sure where. So, here's the pedal that I took a template of here to place over the auto one to see exactly where to cut it. So we'll figure that out. I can't be asked doing it at the moment, but I think I want to do the carpet now. Get rid of some of those plastic trims that are lying around everywhere. The loom box, actually the box of looms, I gave away the XC ones to a chap that wanted them. So in here is a 98 loom, which will have the right, these are taillight looms, I've got a dozen of those, which will have the right connectors on it for the speakers and other bits and pieces. So, right, a couple of different looms. Here's the main engine loom. That's the other half of it there. We've got a body loom that goes down to the tailgate, a tailgate loom for the rear wiper and number plate light, that sort of thing. This is the interior loom. Which bit does that go on? I'm having trouble remembering now. It's got SRS stuff on it. But then here's the main interior and dash loom. This one here, that's where your ABS computer plugs in. Yeah, so those two go together. And then we've got these two connectors we want here that were cut off. There's that one there, and oh, that little one with the squiggly wires there. So we'll cut those off, and I'll label them. This sort of thing's probably barely worth doing, but I'm a stock kind of guy, you know what I mean? And that's what I like doing. So I'm just going to take a bit of insulation off those. And the same on these ones, and just a bit of heat shrink, solder them up, good to go. And we'll do this one. Try not to burn ourselves on the other one. That'll do. We can just bundle that up and stick that over. Just use the iron to shrink it down a bit. Good as gold. Yeah. We've got the right connectors for the speakers. This trashed front carpet with the holes through it, it's also got all that horrible burning. I don't know how this thing didn't catch on fire, I really don't. This is the carpet I cleaned up. You can see the stain is still there, but the rest of it is in fairly good nick, so we'll just drop that in the car, I think. Which way does this go? And it's not new by any stretch, but it's not bad. This carpet, I think it's going to be fine. And by the time, you know, where it joins, I don't think it's going to present any issues. But it really does clean up quite well. It's just the reason I don't bother in a lot of cases. You know, shampooing carpet in the car, I don't like doing that. That's around about right there. With a tiny bit of that, no, I've just torn it. And so that will hold, because the seat's going to go on top of it, and the other one will hook over it, if you know what I mean, and finish up under here somewhere. This is the most incredible colour match, and it's all by sheer luck. Whatever the case, it's better than a rusty piece of crap. Even if I did get it on the hose a bit, we're going to change that hose out. Started putting a little Starlet back together. You can see that looks a bit more presentable. I'll show you what I did with that. It is missing the grain along the top though, because that's rub it all out. And this part here is knackered. I don't like that at all. I had a good pair of these and I threw them out because they're very hard to store. This one's been damaged where the clip goes for the hinge for the parcel tray. On this side, it's unassembled, still disassembled. All cars have them, all these Starlets have them. That's the rear speaker plug. And the 4-speaker stereo was standard in the 5-door, not the 3-door, but you could option it. And all it is speakers in the parcel tray anyway. But that untapes and sort of exits out and sits, you know, sort of like that, so that you can disconnect the parcel tray when you need to. Interestingly, there's 4 conductors. It's not a common ground thing, which is actually pretty good. Right. One washed up seat and washed up carpet. It looks absolutely lovely. I'm very happy with how that turned out. I've done videos on putting seats together. I've got to put these plastic covers. Interestingly, what you'll find most of the time is the front ones look absolutely knackered. But I've always, whenever I've taken a seat from the Wreckers, I've kept the rear ones because they're always clean. These are very, very hard to get in reasonable condition. This is where the rear door would be on a 5-door. And the sun gets to them and just destroys them. And it just all falls apart. You can see that. We'll take that off. That just unclips and pulls out that seatbelt restraint. And I think we'll just hit that with a bit of 80. Unfortunately, it's never going to look great. There is a grain that's sort of moulded into this, and of course at the top it's all gone. If you look closely, it's all got little pock marks all through it, so it's absolutely had it. I'll do this for a little while just to get rid of as much of that sort of dead layer as I can. Because that's where I went along it sort of longitudinally. Up here it won't look too bad, but I just can't do much about it. These things are knackered, but at the end of the day, it's what we've got. And now these sorts of things are getting very hard to find. Right, I'm really starting to crap myself because Tree Lopper's coming tomorrow. And I haven't got steering yet, and I need to be able to drive this. Oops, that wasn't good. So I'm just going to pop this column down. A little bit spooked with this old column. This bit here dropped out of it. I mean, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it, or at least I don't think there is. It hasn't been installed properly, and someone's actually cut into these shear bolts. And the bezel on the ignition switch has been drilled out. So that has no place. I have got this good one, which is, you know, so I think we'll go with this. You know, they're intact. The bezel's never been drilled. I think we'll just go with that one. And this whole sort of clock spring combination switch thing just basically sits over it and screws on. So we'll just put that over, start doing screws up. That's about all you need to do. Pretty easy, but I think it's going to be safer using this one because it just seems to be in unmetalled condition. I don't like things that have been fiddled around with, if they haven't been fiddled around with very well. And we had to sort of drop the column anyhow to get that uni shaft thing on, the steering shaft. Whoops. So the thing I've got to find for this car is an airbag module, because the one that was, it actually had been returned and had its airbag done, and then the guy sold the bloody steering wheel. So, you know, we'll have to... What am I doing here? It's not going in. Yeah, it will. So yeah, I've got to find out what to do with that, but I think we'll put this in. I feel better with this one in. It's a spare, but it's in much better shape. So I need to face that in there. Come on, behave yourself. There we go. And I can just hang this up where it's meant to be, on that bracket that fell off on the other one. Also put this top bit on. Oh, I should clean that. That looks terrible. Well, given the hurry, I mean, it's not too bad. That's the uni shaft for the power steering. It only goes one way, which I'd forgotten about. I haven't got the cover on there. You can see the block behind it. Changed the steering column over. Got a brake pedal there, which is off in auto, but I can't do much about it in the time I've got. And I haven't had time to wire up the radio either, so that can just sort of sit there. I'll clean these tools out and I'll throw the carpet down and put the seat in. I wasn't going to do anything of this or fit this up yet. Is that the wrong way? Hang on, what have I done? Is that the wrong way? I put the wrong bloody way, you idiot. There's that way. But you know, we'll stick a floor mat in, give it another vac, and that will actually take out quite a lot of the mark. So that goes something like that, I think. That folds up under there. That goes under the seat and over. I'm going to have it sort of going over so you won't see it because the seat and the console is going to cover all that. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry and I'm just being really quite careless at the moment. There's a clip there. There's these clips here on the edges, and that will all hold in beautifully and it won't go anywhere. That's actually cool. That's what I like about doing this sort of stuff. So the seat will hold it, and you know what? That's a heck of a lot better than what was there before. I'm actually quite pleased with that. One thing we have to be careful of, if you look up here, is the clock spring. The wheels are almost virtually straight. There should be 5 turns in this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Ew. Right, if I'd put the wheel on with the wheel central, that would have broken because we need it to be sort of in the middle. So 1, 2.5. So it needs to be there for the wheels in the middle. And so we can put that on without fear of breaking the clock spring. The spiral cable, they call it. But this thing runs beautifully. Power steering's awesome. Air conditioning is pretty awesome. It's a great little car. I just had to start putting it together so I could move it because we had a tree lopper in. I had to get all these cars out of the way. And so I was really under the pump last night trying to get it all done. It's all going well, the air conditioning's nice. It's doing everything it should. All direction stuff's working alright. Floor. And face. It's really good, and the clutch feels mad because it's brand new. No problems with gears, nothing. I'll turn that down so you don't have to listen to the thing blowing, but doing everything it's meant to do. Has it got washers? Oh, it's got washers, it's got wipers. What about the rear washer? Can't complain. It's all good. Okay, so I've built that radio out of two other ones. It's labelled for Pt.3, so the Starlet ones were normally labelled Toyota and the Corolla ones for Pt.3. This is all like for like wiring. It's all, I've missed that, I've got to just tape that one up there, but it's all shrink wrapped, or shrink tube and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to tape that up. And that means we've got the original connectors back. It's one thing to wire them up like for like, but it does pay to know what each connector does, and that's why I've used this reference here. So we'll put the radio in now, and it should be a little bit more of a complete entity. Right, was almost time to put this thing in here. I did draw this up last time. I did it. Well, this is false because 97 and 98 dashes are different. So 96 and 97 are the same. When you got airbag, 98 and 99 are different. And I thought the tack dash had a different loom. Now, it does in terms of you have to change your pinouts on your earlier cars, which is what I did on that one when I turned it into a 98 looking car. All these pinouts on these three plugs in the cluster are all identical, and this had the sort of low series dash, if you like, and I put in that tack one in. All your tack feeds, everything's there, so that will just plug and play. I'm not even worried about that. But I can't answer what would be necessary for a Paseo dash or the like, but I do know airbag cars use the same pinouts as the standard, from the standard dash to the tack dash. Now, that raises questions because the standard dashes look identical between the 97 or 96, 97 and 98, 99, except there's an airbag light in there. Which the earlier one probably had as well for cars that were optioned with it, but it means that if you get an earlier low series dash and stick them into a later one, it'll burn out. These are all different. But because we're replacing 98 with 98, there's not a problem. The other thing is, which is a real pain in the neck, I've gone through the sheds and I cannot find my power pack stuff. So I want to change out these manual mirrors and this door trim for one with the central locking switch on it, which I've got. There are the plugs down there that actually plug into the door loom when you drill your holes. Yeah, there's two switches, there's two plugs there. Either side, there's another on the other side as well. But I can't find, so that orange plug there, that's for the central locking relay. And it's all in one box, and I'm buggered if I know what to do with it. So I can't put this together until I find that, that box, which is a real pain. Right, you guys, I've gone through this shed and pulled this one apart again, right? And the box with the stuff in it was right there at the top. And I never noticed it because it's got crockery on top. Are you kidding me? Let's pull this crockery out. I mean, only a moron would do this. Just a sec. Under the newspaper is the power pack stuff, including a remote central locking switch. Hang on, what's in here? A couple of electric mirrors and a little garnish thing to, door lock actuators. There's the power steering thing I was missing to make up the third kit. A driver's loom. Another mirror. That's the relay I need so I can put the dash cluster back in. And it goes on and on. What a friggin' moron. Oh, and the electric mirror switch. I mean, really, it took me a day and a half to find this. It was in plain view because idiot brain here put crockery. It's the same as that stupid steering stuff I did. What the hell is that? Anyway, I've got it now. This is what I'm talking about with Lego and where the cluster goes. There's a piece of tape. You pull the loom out, plug straight in, and then screws up into there. And then your cluster sits in. That's the reason I love this stuff. Then we've just got to run those two plugs there. We've got to drill the holes, put the grommet in, done and dusted. Easy peasy. So cool. Right. Well, now's the moment of truth. We'll find out if I'm right or wrong with the wiring thing I was talking about before. We'll pop this, I'll just take that out, makes it easier, and plug all this stuff in. Here goes up this side. Can't really see what I'm doing, but it goes around here somewhere. Alright. And then there's the speedo cable, which we've got to put there. God damn. That's it. Oh, barely enough room for my hand. I guess there we stick some volts in and see what happens. Are we in neutral? That's neutral. Let's turn the wipers off. Right. Oh, that's because it's not started yet. Hang on a minute. Ooh, we got tack. And the fuel gauge is falling down to where it's supposed to be. Handbrake light. What happens if I pull the seat belt? Not much. I'll have to figure that one out. But the point is, she works. There you go. So I'm using this wheel here. It's a Minter, and I don't know where straight. Whoa! I don't know where straight is. Hang on, I'm going to earth out. Look, let's just assume it's there. Now the other thing which, hang on, we don't have to be overzealous tightening these. People just go too far with them. They're only a sort of a fine thread. The other thing is the airbag, which is here, doesn't have an inflator. That's not roadworthy. It's the same as the other car I've got, but the difference is the other car's a 97. So anything manufactured before about, I think it's the 20th of December, 1997 was the old first model Starlet, the 96-97. No airbags in them, as standard. The 98s all came with them. So this car's supposed to have one. Anyway, so that'll just sit on there for now, and until I can work out with the inflator. I saw one at a wrecker, pulled it off, but it was a Takata, and I told them, and the kid didn't care. He just goes, "Oh, it's a guy that comes around every now and picks those up." And I said, "You really need to do something about it, because if someone's not aware and they sell it, it can be quite a dangerous thing." The other thing worthy of mention here is airbag modules can be $900 to $1,500 depending on where you look. That's what I've read. I've never actually bought one. So I'm looking at getting a second-hand one. I do have an auto-live one from the Corolla, but I'm not sure if it's compatible with this. And so unless I absolutely know, I'm not going to put it on. Now you can get resistors that plug in here. They're normally coming out of China that fool the SRS system to think that there's an airbag there. But that, of course, as we said, this car's supposed to have one, so that becomes illegal. I'd say standard Starlets use a coin holder. Oh, my knee. Sorry. That sits in there like that. Power pack cars use this, and there's a loom in there, and Toyota taped them up so you can then just poke them out and plug them in. And it's the same with the air conditioning kits. There you go, we've got power mirrors. Well, we haven't, but we're on the way to power mirrors. But I love that. Even the XC actually, there's two different wiring looms in the XCs. There's a sort of a base model one, or the high series if you want to call it that. So yeah, I think the B8s all had them, where you have the other plugs for the power windows and everything just sitting there, and you just plug the door looms into them. But these are particularly handy. Everything's just so user friendly on them, and it's looking lovely. I'm really sort of enthusiastic about it. Console mess. This is where we make strawberry shortcake out of crap. That would be a cup holder down there, but we haven't got one at the moment, so it doesn't matter. We can work that out later. There's a gear boot. There's slight wear on it up there. We can paint that, but can't be bothered. So that will clip under here, because it's Toyota, right? Everything clips together beautifully. and everything just fits. Look at that. There's a couple of little marks on it, but it's a bit better than the one over there. So I'm going to stick this in the car. Oh, before I do, our lovely ashtray, which we did a quick reco on. I do have a cigarette lighter that's never been used, but that looks more like an EA Falcon one, which I think is what it's from, but it will fit. Sweet. And oh, I've got to plug the cigarette lighter in. Hang on, where's that plug? There we go. Light seems to work fine. Later. Hang on a minute. Oh, that goes in later. Hang on a sec. I'll take that out again. One thing I've been accused of doing is being a hoarder. I'm actually not. I really enjoy throwing stuff out that I know I'm never going to use. The thing about these cars is they're so sort of, I'm kind of endeared to them a bit. And, you know, if I can make a couple of good ones out of some junk, that's a good day in my book. Here's a couple of knobs. I have some spare knobs. And I'm just sort of cleaning all this hand crap off. It's actually quite gross what comes off people's hands. The one with the best grain, obviously, we'll chuck in the car.
Sarcastic joke.
So there we have it. We don't have an airbag in the car yet, which is why our airbag light's on. I even keep clips like these, all these broken ones from the sort of these trims here. If they're slightly off and you try to knock them on, they break. And these are the ones that I found in the car. Even these sort of pan head screws, they're the ones that are used. Where's a good view? There, in behind. And just pick up some nice clean ones out of the box full of stuff. I don't have a lot of Starlet stuff left, really, now, but let's have a look at this car. I'm actually really happy with how it looks. We've still got to do the brake pedal. I haven't done that yet. And then I can put all this, there's a duct, an air duct that goes under there, and also that trim with the other speaker. Anyway, that's about it for now. Next time, what we're going to do, oops, I'll put those down. I'm going to pull the doors off. I've got another door. And we're going to pop some holes. One goes in there, one goes in there. And we'll put our power pack on. The left-hand door's in good condition, but I've still got to take it off to get access to there. Doors and these things are very easy. We'll swap the mirrors out for electric ones. We'll swap the driver's door trim out for the proper power pack one. And we'll just put that rear trim in. I've got a better mat than the one that was in here. We've got this door here which looks pretty munted, but it is in pretty good nick. The only thing I can see wrong with it is a little bit buckly in there. You can see there. The rest of it seems to be in better shape. I'll clean it up, have a look, and if that's better, we'll put that on too. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Next video will be the final. We'll put it all together and make it look like a nice, clean car once again. Anyway, take good care of yourselves, enjoy a classic, and I'll see you soon. Well, that's a bit better. It'll do for the next couple of weeks. What do you reckon? Shit, Jesus. Move. Move, cat. Move. Move. Come on. I think it.